Hello, and welcome to the Outcry Theatre Podcast. I'm Becca Johnson-Spinos, and I'm the Artistic Director of Outcry Theatre. Every episode of this podcast delves into the artistic process of creating theatre. This episode is about our current production of The Old Man and the Old Moon by Pigpen Theatre Company. Hi, this is Miss Becca. I'm here with some of the actors who are starring in The Old Man and the Old Moon. You guys want to introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Logan Beutel. I play the Old Man.
Hi, I'm Brayden Soffa, and I also play the Old Man.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Belilty, and I play Matheson.
Hello, I'm Weand, and I also play Matheson.
Thanks for being here, guys. First of all, since this is a brand new show and not very many people know about it, why don't you guys tell us a little bit about the show?
All right, so there's this old man, and he lives with his wife on the side of a cliff, very high up in the air, and his job is to fill the moon up with liquid light because it has a very small leak in it. And they've been doing this for so long that they don't really remember why they're there or how they got there. And one day the wife sort of starts to worry about that. In the middle of the night, she goes off to find out how they got there and why they're there, and the old man begrudgingly leaves his duty to the moon to go find his wife, and then it kind of goes from there.
And then it turns into an epic journey across the sea. This is a unique show for Outcry and kind of a unique show in general. There's a lot of different elements, and I want to talk about all of them. The major thing that we're utilizing in this show that we've never utilized before to this extent especially is shadow puppetry. Can you guys talk a little bit about shadow puppets and how that works into the show?
Yeah, so this show was written by Pigpen Theatre Company, and they originally used shadow puppets because they made the show when they were in college, so they didn't have a lot of money or resources. So they used shadow puppets, and they felt like gave them a really unique twist to the story. Makes the audience feel at home and like in a backyard sort of feel. And I feel like that really is true of the show. And the shadow puppets really tie the show together and makes it feel really intimate and just gives everyone a sense of the adventure and just the peace of the shadow puppets. But it's also really cool to do the shadow puppets because you can give them all personalities, and it's been a really good challenge trying to figure out how to make the shadow puppets work best for us.
We have a lot of cool projections in our shows by Mr. J. But what's cool about this is that the actors are doing sort of the projected images that the audience will see. And what these images do is they kind of boil down all these huge, grand sceneries down to their essence. And we can get a sense for this huge story in such a sort of small, compact way.
Another aspect that makes this show different than anything that we've done before is that we have a live band who is playing with us on stage, and they're all student musicians, just like our cast. And we've been practicing with them since January. Some of them have never been in a play before, so that's a very exciting thing. What's it been like working with the band and Logan also being a part of the band while you are also acting?
It's crazy hard. I volunteered to be our banjo player for the show. I know how to play guitar, but I volunteered how to play banjo for the show. And having to kind of be in two different zones where you have to lock into being the underscoring of the show, but you also have to lock into being the person who carries the show, and having to be in those two different states of being is pretty difficult. But it's really cool, though. It's really fun. I've learned a lot, and I feel like I've grown a lot in this rehearsal process because of that.
A lot of the Outcry shows have music in them. I would say every show has music in it, just because it really helps to convey emotion, and it's really pleasing for the audience. But having a live band really adds to the energy of the space, and every actor in the room can feel in the drums, whenever they come through, everyone can feel that energy and that determination and just pumping blood in their skin, or pumping blood in their body, But having a live band is really cool just for the actors, so I think it'll be quite the experience for the audience. And plus, our musicians that are in the show are extremely talented for their age, I would say. They're just incredible, including like the harp and accordion. Like those are like hard instruments, and they play them beautifully.
Yeah, so Isabella, who's our accordion player, much like Logan, basically volunteered to learn accordion for this show. She actually plays piano and bass. So shout out to Isabella for learning the accordion, got an accordion teacher just to learn it for the show, and she's amazing.
Another thing about the music in the band in general is like the style of music that they're playing. It's very a more folk style, which is pretty different than the music we normally have in our shows. And I think especially for this show, it gives it such a different spin. This show is one a lot about telling a story, and it's very intimate, and like you're sitting around the campfire listening to the story, and especially the style of music just makes you feel like you're really there hearing the story for the first time and experiencing it. And working with this very skilled group of musicians has been amazing throughout this process.
What's really special about it is being able to go and do a monologue with like kids playing the music for you. And it's awesome to like be able to work with people your age doing art, making art, but doing a completely different art, but also collaborating at the same time. And it's really awesome, like all the dances that we do to their music and them like adjusting to each other. It's a really good like teamwork thing, and it's really interesting and really special and really different from what we've done before.
Someone give a shout out to Adam and his bottle xylophone.
Shout out to Adam because he's amazing, and all of the sound effects are basically him, and it's just he just like does random stuff, and it's so cool.
Adam is the king.
So typically in an Outcry show, particularly at the studio theater, which is where we do all of our non-musicals, we usually have smaller sets for most of our shows. That is not the case for this. Can you guys talk a little bit about what we're doing and how we're transforming the space and how it's going to be kind of an epic thing to see?
Right. So if you've ever been to an Outcry show in the studio theater, you'll know that there's like an accordion wall in the back, and we're just completely taking that out to just really open up the space and allows us to use all of the space that we can use. And so our set is enormous with like a bunch of different platforms that just scales the entire space with like different hidey holes for our musicians. It's really going to be completely different than any other Outcry show you've seen. Just in regards to the set, just walking in, you're going to know that this is a special one.
So Brayden and Logan play our old man, which is obviously not a thing that you guys are. So talk to me a little bit about how that works in the story, and also all the things that you've done to sort of become the old man and work on him, and just kind of a little bit about him in general.
Even though I'm not an old man, what makes it okay for me to play an old man in the show is that kind of the whole point of the cast in general is that everyone's kind of out of type and no one's really exactly where they should be. So it's okay if all the characters feel a little, charactery or a little over the top. In order to prepare for this role, much to my cast's laughter, I do a lot of posture work. And I've ceased that for the past couple months in order to make my posture really bad. So that's one thing I've done to make the physicality a little more convincing. And yeah, I just sort of like kind of twist my face around to a little more to make it seem a little more wrinkly. I don't know how to explain it, but I just sort of exaggerate everything a little bit, make it feel charactery deliberately.
Getting the physicality for the old man was definitely a struggle for me at first, and I really have to think a lot about how I'm going to hold myself and like how the old man would hold himself and walk, and just really in every single movement, because I am not an old man, and just the physicality is just so different than what I normally do in my real life and on stage. So I just really have to be thinking a lot of the time about making myself older, and especially the old man being sort of an eternal figure. He's not just like old, he's like older than dirt. So it's like definitely a step farther than just being old. And I really have to think a lot about how to make myself seem old in everything that I do.
Elizabeth and Dylan are playing Matheson, who is our storyteller, and the story doesn't happen without them. They're the ones who initiate the beginning of the play. Talk to me a little bit about Matheson, what he does in the story, who he is, and I guess the experience, what it's been like to play him and bring him to life.
Matheson is the storyteller, as Miss Becca said, and also the first mate of the ship. But really, he is the heart and soul of the story, other than the old man. I mean, the old man obviously is like carries the story, and it's his story, but Matheson tells it for him and tells it in a way that no one else can. He really is just the epitome of storytellers. Like, he's the most epic, amazing character that I've ever played. And playing him has been incredible because he's a good balance, like a great balance between like storyteller, but also human, but also all-knowing, but also so many things just put together into this one guy who tells the story and carries everyone on this incredible journey.
He is this, I like the word Brayden used, he's an eternal figure of some sort that just has experienced things that the other sailors on the ship just haven't quite experienced, and he's just somehow all-knowing. So really bringing that out in every interaction with every sailor is pretty interesting, I would say. And I've never had a narrating role, I believe. This one is just quite the starter. Just being able to really interact with the audience and really show them the old man's story is in how Matheson does it, which is insane. It's quite something.
Elizabeth has been in my shows for a very long time. Oh, no. And she is moving to Florida. This is her last show. And I believe her 20th show with me. So Elizabeth, she's literally crying as I say this. Tears are emerging. Tell us about what you've learned, what you're going to miss, and what it's like being here. And we're certainly going to miss you. I put her on the spot. I didn't tell her I was going to ask this.
I was not expecting this. Well, so, oh God. So, I've been doing shows with Miss Becca for a really long time. And she's taught me everything I know. Like, literally everything I know. And, like, I went in not knowing how to sing, not knowing how to dance, not knowing how to act. And, like, she just taught me everything, and she pushes me, and all of this stuff and all of these incredible memories that I've had are because of Outcry and because of Miss Becca. And every single person has left an imprint in my heart for like ever, and I will always remember everyone. And this show is like a really good show to go out on with like my character and like just like the people that I get to act with. And like I did my first show with Brayden, doing my last show with Brayden, and just like everything. It's just, God, it's been a great journey, and I'm gonna miss everyone like so much. But you know, it was a good chapter of my life, and let's see where things go.
Okay, so last question. Why should people come see our production of The Old Man and the Old Moon?
Well, not only is it unlike any show that anyone has ever seen before because of the live band and the shadow puppets and all the live sound effects and just the whole look of the show in general, but for Outcry fans, it's unlike any other Outcry show we've done before. I mean, it has many aspects, many principles we keep true to, but very tweaked. So it's very much a unique experience for anyone. And It's just an incredible show. It's the most magical. Come see it. Do it.
The show is definitely really special and heartfelt and has such a great message and such a fun adventure that you're going to go on when you come to see this show. As Matheson says at the beginning, it draws you in. And I think that's really something that's true about this story. You're going to be drawn into our world we're going to create for you. And I think you're really just going to have a magical adventure.
I believe the show is truly, truly magical. And anyone who comes out to see the show is going to have a really good time and leave with a memory of positivity, of teamwork, of loving your loved ones. The show's got it all. It really makes you have a smile on your face. So I would say it would leave you with that.
And it's one of those shows that you feel literally every emotion possible. You feel anger, you're sad, you laugh, you're like in love with all of the characters, and it's just such a journey for the audience and for the actors, and it's just really, really special.
All right, thanks guys. Thanks for being here. Thank you so much for joining us for our latest episode of the Outcry Theatre Podcast. You can find out more about The Old Man and the Old Moon at outcrytheatre.com. That's theater with an R-E. This podcast has been produced by me, Becca Johnson-Spinos, and edited by Jason Johnson-Spinos. If you enjoyed this podcast, please share it with your theater-loving friends.